Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's happening, everybody? I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. Today, here's what we're talking about: the power of knowing. The power of knowing. Look, today is Thursday, and every Thursday, I started going live on Instagram at 8:28. Look at that. We got the 8:28 everything t-shirt on. Every Thursday at 8:28, we go live on Instagram for Purposeful Thursdays. For Purposeful Thursday, all based on Romans 8:28. For we know all things work together for good of them who love God and are called to his purpose. So today is Purposeful Thursday, and we're talking about the power of knowing, and we're gonna just kind of unpack what that text is talking about. You know, for we know all things work together for them who are love God and called to his purpose. But let's back up. What is knowledge? What is knowing? Before we get to knowing, we got to get to knowledge. And so here's what knowledge is. Here's what knowledge is. And I just go and do quick Google searches. What is knowledge? Facts. That's knowledge. So knowledge is facts, which means something. What does that mean? If we have knowledge, it just means we know the facts. What else? Information is knowledge. I'm passing on information today, right? So you're going to get information. You're getting knowledge today. Skills acquired is knowledge. So let's think about what knowledge is. Knowledge is facts. Knowledge is information. Knowledge is skills that are acquired. Why am I talking about this? Well, it's Purposeful Thursdays, right? For we know all things work together. For we know. Oh, wait a second. For we know. So the text in Romans 8:28 is assuming something. Let's now look at what is knowing. What is knowing? Showing or suggesting that one has the knowledge. All right. So knowing is actually you saying that you have the knowledge. For we know. Now, here's the thing about Romans 8:28 on Purposeful Thursday. Do we actually have the knowledge? When we read this text, for we know all things work together for them who love God and are called to his purpose. Here's the problem. We have to talk about the problem. Most of us are not in full awareness when it comes to this knowledge and this knowing. For we know. We can only know something when we are aware of what is happening. It's kind of like marketing, right? Marketing is one of these things that when you do marketing, especially if you're marketing to people who have a problem, looking for a solution, you want to a lot of times market to people who are already aware of the problem that they have and that your solution could potentially be that solution for them. When we market to people who don't know that they have a problem, they're not in awareness. They're saying to themselves, oh, that's not for me. Oh, that's not for me. So we don't want to waste time marketing to people when they don't know it. They don't know that this problem is aware. So we got to make sure that when we're marketing, that the people that we want to impact, get to, they are already problem aware. But let's go back to this. As believers, for we know, are we in full awareness? Come on now. There's somebody here today. If you're anything like me, there's somebody here today who's having a problem, right? Because I know I'm having one. So I know I'm not the only one who has a problem. So there's somebody here who has a problem. And when we start to realize and say to ourselves, for we know all things work together for them who love God. Let's think about this. Let's take this a step further. What types of things should we be aware of when we're thinking about this type of scripture and this type of text. This is not, now the text is knowledge, right? We're gaining knowledge, but now how can we implement said knowledge? How can I actually say, for I know all things work together for my good because I'm called to God's purpose? All right. Why were you born? I think we did the power of purpose, so we're not going to rehash that. Why were you born? All right. Did Jesus know why he was born? Let's talk about Jesus real quick. Jesus knew why he was born. And because Jesus knew why he was born, he was fully aware of all the potential circumstances that would come up because he understood where he was going. Come on now. I'm going to try and say that again. Jesus knew why he was born, and he was fully aware of all of the potential circumstances that could come up as he was going towards his destiny. He was fully aware. Wait a second. Jay, whoa. What do you mean he was fully aware? Yeah, he's fully aware that the people that he loved the most and that he was brought into the world to help would reject him. Come on now. We started businesses and you start marketing. No one opts in, no one joins, no one pays, no one takes you up. And the people didn't come in, and I can't believe this didn't happen. Or maybe it's something else, and we're having problems. Like, but things are just not working out. Wait, before we know, so we have to be fully aware of all of the challenges. So I heard someone say this: you have to really have a list of challenges, a list of things that could go wrong. Do you not realize God had to make his own list? God was creating man and woman. He's creating a new species. He's laying out a framework. He's like, look, I'm gonna create a whole home. Think about this. Imagine if you went to build a home. You said, you know what? I got some, man, we're going to have these kids, and I'm going to go build a home just for them, right? I'm going to put all my blood, my sweat, my tears into the home, into what I'm doing, and I'm going to give it to them. And then all you say is, look, I'm giving you the home. Just don't do this one thing. And then they do the one thing you asked them not to do. God had to account for that. He had to account for, wait a second, why would God account for his creation to not follow his plan? Why would he even do that? Because that's how much he loved. That's how much he loved us. So now we messed up. They had to account for the fact that, well, I think we're going to have to go back and fix it ourselves. So he looks at Jesus and say, well, you going? So yeah, I'm going. He says, all right, well, this is what you're going to have to go through. So there was no complaining. There was just, send me, like Isaiah said, send me into the field, send me into the land, send me to where it is you want me to go. Jesus comes and is fully aware. He's fully aware of where he's going. And he's fully aware of all the challenges and circumstances that he will face just to help the people that he was here to help. Fully aware of it. For we know all things work together for them who love God and are called to his purpose. Jesus knew who he was and the purpose for which he was born. So he was fully aware of the circumstances that was coming up. All the way that he had to say, wow, I'm actually going to do this. I'm actually going to lay down my life. But here's the kicker. He knew. He says, well, Father tells me, the Father told him he gets to lay down his life so that he can pick his own life. Back up. How did Jesus have this power of knowing? See, this is probably the biggest problem for believers. Is coming under this mindset that that's Jesus. Well, I would have to disagree, because He had to take on the same limitations that you and I have today. What's those limitations? This body, this experience that we're in, propaganda, all sorts of things. Now think about this. He could not on his own accord think of he can have bad thoughts. How many of us have bad thoughts? Bad thoughts. How many of us have done bad things or done things that don't take us towards where it is? He had to actually live the way that we should live. He gave us a framework and says, if you follow me, right? All you do, and when you follow me, when you ask anything in my name, is what he said in John, right? And when you ask anything in my name, you'll get it. But do we know that? Lastly here, let's look right back at this knowing, because this is where we tend to get tripped up. Knowing is having full awareness that is secret. That is secret. Knowing is like having a secret, right? Knowing is almost like only a few people know. Only a few people actually have harnessed this knowing. How do I know this? Just look around. There's always a small number of people having success doing something in every industry, in every walk of life. Why is that? It's knowing. It's the awareness. Earlier, actually at the end of 2022, I heard Myron Golden say this. He said, if you did anything in 2023, if you focused on anything in 2023, you would want to focus on having a greater awareness for what you should know. I'm paraphrasing, something like that. Having a greater awareness for what you should know, for what you could know, for what you have to know. The more you know, now that's information, but then when you go from information to the awareness is knowing, but it's just not knowing. See, that's where Jesus sets himself apart from many of us. He decided that even with what he knew about what was going to happen to him, he was willing to go forward. Are you willing to go forward knowing that, wow, I can see my expected end? Are you willing to go forward knowing that the end is coming? And you know what? I'm just going to use today as a platform. But here's the thing. The challenges are coming. The problems are coming. The situations that I don't want to deal with are coming. Are you willing? Are you willing? For we know all things work together for them who are called to his purpose. For them who love the Lord and are called to his purpose. So use this today. Use this new power of knowing, this new awareness that you can harness for yourself so that you can make today the best it could be and make the rest of your life the best of your life. God bless you guys. I'll see you on the next episode. I'm Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.